Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I was just wondering about your title. Is that just to like entice people in, or do you really believe that meat should be illegal?
Oh no, I'm serious, man.
Ah, okay. So when you say illegal, do you like fully criminalize it?
Yeah, for sure. Like when I say meat in that title, I mean all animal cruelty and any kind of slaughter, any kind of needless killing of animals. So that includes the dairy industry because those animals are tortured and killed to make milk. That includes the egg industry because those animals are tortured and killed to make eggs, and that includes hunting. It includes leather and fur.
Okay. So what would be the criminal charge if you're caught with meat? Then
Yeah, well, like we already have laws against kicking dogs or shooting dogs.
yeah.
So yeah, you'll even if it's a stray dog, like you'll be prosecuted for animal cruelty. So there will be either a hefty fine or some jail time for animal abuse.
Ah, okay. Uh, a question I have as well, completely off topic for that. If you were to completely abolish all dairy and animal farms, the amount of jobs that would like ruin. Do you think the vegan industry would be able to fill up the amount of jobs that would lose?
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, they'll just sell something else. So industries change. We used to watch like in the 1980s. We used to watch movies on a VCR, like a VHS tape that goes into a VCR, and it took like 20 minutes to rewind it. Once the movie's over, you got to rewind it, and it takes like literally 10 or 20 minutes to rewind it back to the beginning of the videotape. Okay, and then in the 1990s, DVDs came out and they replaced VHS and the VCRs, right? Because it's just better technology. And then now we all got rid of DVDs and we're all doing like Netflix streaming online, right? And so nobody cries about the death of the VCR or DVD industry. Nobody's like, we can't start having Netflix and make things easier to watch. What would happen to all the jobs of the DVD makers? It's like, well, they'll get a job at Netflix. Like, so instead of a slaughterhouse, we're gonna have a factory that makes vegan burgers. But also, like
Yeah.
the like, if your job, okay, animal abusing industries have no place in our society, and they must be eradicated as soon as possible. Any job that is built off oppression and injustice and violence must be done away with, and making money off of that is not a justification. So specifically about dairy, here's a video in stage one text that I'm posting that has 6 million views on YouTube. It's just a 5-minute video, 6 million views. Dairy is scary. So everybody go to stage one text and check this out. Dairy is scary. So these animals are horrifically tortured and killed as children for products that we don't need to eat.
I see. Yeah. Um, is like hunting. You don't believe in hunting as well, then? You
Right.
feel like the hunt, like in Ireland. I live in Ireland,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of people here who actually live off their hunt, and they hunt for themselves and they butcher and cook their own meat and food themselves. What do you think about that?
It's animal abuse and they should stop. And we're gonna make it illegal because those animals don't want to die. Like, would you shoot a dog through the heart just and eat them? Like, what's the difference between a dog and a deer? Like, I got deer coming into my yard like all the time. They're cool. Like, they're smart and they're gentle and they watch over their babies and they make eye contact with me and like they judge the distance of like how they make calculated decisions about how close they'll let me get to them, and they realize that the dogs that we have are dangerous. And so when they see or hear the dogs, they run. But when they see or hear me, they don't freak out as much, right? And it's like like I've seen deer play soccer. Here, watch. I'll post a video. This is just like a GIF, or was it a GIF or a GIF? Anyway, in stage one text of a deer playing soccer and scores a goal and celebrates, like jumps up in the air and kicks their legs out in joy, just like a child playing soccer. So yeah, I don't think we should be shooting childlike beings. They need to like your hunter buddies. Like my brother's a hunter, and it's messed up. I try to love them anyways, but like it's messed up. It's animal abuse. Um, you should just grow plants or go to the grocery store. End of story, right? So like, imagine if you
But do
were
you?
if imagine it like, would you want to be hunted?
No, obviously not.
Right.
Like, yeah,
Yeah, they don't either. So let's not do it to them.
yeah. Do you? Do you not believe if it as you know, and obviously you believe is it doesn't need to be done. But do you not think it would be a lot more civil if you were to kill your own meat, and a lot more obviously at the end of the day it's murder in your beliefs, but I don't think it'd be a lot more natural if it was done through hunting instead of mass, genocide through the farms.
Well, I mean, it's obviously worse to torture somebody and then kill them, but it's also still really messed up to kill somebody. That's murder, right? Ending their life, taking away their entire existence, all of their friends and family relationships destroyed, all the the good days they had ahead of eating good food and enjoying the sun and just being free out in the wilderness destroyed because we're selfish, right? We like hurting animals and we like the taste of their dead bodies. Doesn't make any sense to me. So. Yeah, there's a third option, which is just not hurt animals at all. Don't torture them or kill them.
Yeah, I'm saying as a you're a vegan activist, you probably got this argument as well. I just want to see what you think on it. The whole vegetables feel pain as well. That they can detect and sense pain. Yeah, I know it's a silly question. It can be, but what do you believe on the? What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's silly. So, yeah, plants don't feel pain. They don't have a brain or nerves, and therefore they're not conscious or sentient or able to feel pain or have a subjective experience of the world. So, yeah, morality doesn't apply to them, right? Our morality, like, it doesn't matter how we treat them because they don't care how they're treated. So there's science backing that up. So yeah, it's the mass consensus of scientific experts that plants are not sentient, but animals are, because animals like us, have a brain and a nervous system, and therefore our consciousness are conscious. They have mental states like fear and joy, and they have physical sensations like pleasure and pain. So, but even if it was
Yeah,
true, like even if it was true that despite the scientific consensus, it turns out that plants are sentient, even though they don't have a brain or nerves, and we need to like start factoring that in. The thing is, we have to eat plants in order to survive, but we don't have to eat animals in order to survive. And it takes 16 pounds of plants to make 1 pound of beef because the farmer has to feed the cow every day for 18 months to get them up to slaughter weight to make a tiny amount of beef compared to the giant piles of grain that were fed to this cow or grass, for months. So meat eaters kill far more plants than vegans because you're feeding livestock a bunch of crops for months and then eating that. So if we need to save the lives of plants, eat them directly rather than filtering a bunch more of them through livestock to get a tiny bit of meat or dairy or eggs.
yeah. That's a fair argument as well. Yeah,
Cool.
I don't believe the pain. Obviously, but I just wondered your thoughts on it.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah. As well. So, would you believe that animals are on it like an equal, like more like moral level? Like, would you believe that animals are equal to humans
Not
in that
necessarily. Like
sense?
it depends. Like generally speaking, I value a human more than an ant. For obvious reasons,
Yeah,
probably. Like not just because they're human. But because humans have a much longer lifespan. We live to like 80 instead of like a week or whatever. Like ants might live to be
yeah,
30
yeah,
days old or something. There's that. There's also like we are far more complex and like I think more sentient because of our complex brain and nervous system. So I think we can suffer in more ways than an ant can. I also think we can contribute positively to the world in more ways than an ant can. But then again, there are some terrible humans out there who abuse the power they
yeah,
have and ignore their ability to rationalize and consider the well-being of others. And there are some humans who like I would value an ant more than some humans. Like I'm against the death penalty, and I think that we should like try to rehabilitate people. And I understand the bad situations they may have come from that created this monster that I'm looking at. But
Yeah.
nevertheless, if they're going to go out and keep hurting others, whereas the ant isn't, I'm gonna like let the ant live. You know. But
Yeah.
so like I mean, Hitler versus a puppy dog. Yeah, I like the puppy dog more than Hitler. But you don't.
Yeah.
We're not saying that you have to value animals to the same degree as humans. We're just saying value animals more than your taste buds. Value animals more than a snack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's what we mean by speciesism. It's a little different than racism in the sense that, like, when we say like a black person and a white person, when we say like abolish racism, we're saying end the violent discrimination against people of color or anybody from any other race. We're just saying, and we are saying all humans are equal in that we are all of the same intelligence level. We all have the same lifespan. We all have the ability to contribute to society in positive ways, etc. Whereas with speciesism, it's a little different because, again, an ant is so different than a human. A pig is very different to a human, right, in many ways. But we do have a lot of very important similarities, like the ability to feel pain and pleasure, have friends and families, and want to stay alive. And that's what really matters. But with speciesism, yeah, so we're not saying that animals and humans are equal in every way, but we're just saying don't violently discriminate against animals just because they're different. Don't stab them just because you get some kind of pleasure, like your taste buds. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I understand that.
Yeah. So it's kind of
So where does it?
similar to like ableism in that somebody with a severe mental disability, you may not see them as equal to a regular functioning human who can communicate and contribute to the world and maybe suffer in more ways than a severely mentally disabled person is, and this person may be able to contribute to the world in more ways than that other person can. So you may value one person more than another person, but that doesn't mean you should stab either of those people.
Yeah. Yeah. Another question I have is about like domestication of animals. Where do you think the line crosses when it comes to like house pets or even pets in general?
Sure.
Where do you draw that line?
Sure. So, like, we should not be, capturing animals from the wild and forcing them to live in our homes or anything. But if a wild animal, comes up and wants to hang out with you, and it becomes like a mutually beneficial relationship where they get food, we get companionship, they happen to guard our house or whatever, and we give them even a better quality of life than they would have in the wild because now they have shelter and safety and stuff and veterinary care or whatever. All these things are fine. As far as like pets are concerned right now, like we want to outlaw breeding because there are animals in shelters, like 1 million dogs and cats in shelters in the U.S. Who get killed every year before their time because people are buying animals from breeders instead of adopting animals from shelters. So adopt, don't shop. And in the meantime, but yeah, like it's totally good to rescue an animal and give them a home so that they're not murdered in a shelter. And yeah, we restrict their freedoms to some degree, like not letting, by keeping them in a yard or on a leash when we walk them, simply for their own good, so that they don't run into traffic, just like a little kid would run into traffic and get hurt. So we restrict their freedoms to some degree only for
Yeah.
what's in their best interest. And aside from that, we let them have as much freedom as possible because we do value that for them. Um, but yeah, so it's not like dogs are our slaves or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
spay and neuter, so we stop like having all these animals that we have to take care of. And yeah, like, and maybe once we get the shelter problem under control, then we can reintroduce, really restrictive breeding, maybe. Or maybe we should just rescue, like, instead of getting dogs and cats, maybe we just adopt some pigs from slaughterhouses, rescue some animals like that.
Yeah. But surely, I'm just I am not fully educated on this topic, but
Sure.
like surely, uh, like in the prehistoric times or whenever it was when we started to domesticate wolves and dogs, surely they didn't do that with like on their own terms. You know what I mean? We had some sort of say that forced them into
Yeah.
domestication.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm not. I don't know the specifics of that, but it's probably likely that our ancestors like captured wild dogs and domesticated them, or
Yeah,
it could be that our ancestors were cooking some food and the wild dogs came up and wanted to bite and formed a friendship. I don't know, but
yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So like that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like, as you see in that profile picture, it's a funny picture of a monkey, and obviously that monkey is being domesticated into that film, and that is actually quite a debated topic. Is whether
Yeah,
like where we should draw the line on where we bring wildlife into domestic situations,
yeah,
into like housing situation.
yeah. Well, like I said, yeah, I feel like I answered that.
Yeah,
That monkey looks like they're probably being exploited though. So yeah,
yeah, okay.
it's cute and funny and
That
all, but like if we look at it from their perspective, like there's probably a disgusting story behind that picture.
I mean, obviously I don't know the origins of the video, the picture, but very very well could be. You're right, but yeah,
Yeah, so like I said, I don't think we should be capturing them from the wild and kidnapping them, stealing them from their friends and their family and their natural habitat and stuff. There's something called sanctuaries, an animal sanctuary or like a
yeah,
wildlife preserve or conservation or something. These are different than zoos. Okay, so a zoo is for profit, whereas like a sanctuary is, they only take in rescued animals and they don't let them breed. And you know, and unless it's like maybe if there's like a, a species that's going extinct or something, maybe they'll try to
yeah,
repopulate and maybe introduce back into the wild if possible, that kind of thing. But yeah, so I just support animal sanctuaries where animals are rescued from situations of distress and given veterinary care and good food and belly rubs and friends and allowed to live happy, safe, and free. Anything aside
yeah,
from that is against my values.
yeah. So that, I guess that would mix with the animals that are going extinct to like climate change as well, or like even like any natural sort of causes, the change of the world. Like, do you think that it's fine there to capture animals and keep them safe
I think an
from
argument could
the
be
outside
made.
world?
That's a good question. I think an argument could be made that, like if an animal's ecosystem is
Yeah,
being destroyed because of human activity, then like we have a responsibility to mitigate their suffering. And, first of all, like we need to stop messing up their environment in the first place, and a lot of the reasons their environment
yeah,
is getting messed up is because of animal farming, right? So because of
yeah,
all these factory farms and stuff, and deforestation to make room for like growing crops to feed to 70 billion land animals who we raise and feed and kill every year across the world for food that we don't need to eat, right? So 70 billion, that's 10 times the human population.
Cheers, mate, awesome.
Okay,
Thank you
cool.
very much.
Yeah, it was nice talking
Okay,
to you.
all right, see ya.
Bye.